Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Black Millennial Wife. I'm Jet.
And I'm Avis. So we'll go into our Black business highlight. So in a couple episodes back, I had mentioned that I had purchased some spices from a Black business and wanted to gift them to a family member of mine. So I got them in the mail. Christmas is already passed, but I think I'm going to keep them all and not give them to her. But this is the package that I got. Very nice. It's Essie Spice, and her website is essiespice.com. You can follow her on Instagram. I believe she has a Facebook too, but I just wanted to kind of do like a quick unboxing because it's pretty dope. In the box came a recipe for like food, a recipe for a cocktail, super cute, and just a little postcard thing. But these are the spices. They're good sizes, like they're heavy glass. So I'm super excited about cooking with them. I'm probably going to use one of them for what I make tonight. So we're recording this on New Year's Eve. So of course, gonna cook. But check them out. They were really good price. I think she has a little promo code going on right now too. So if you want some spices to kind of test out some different cultures, check her out. It's really dope.
Awesome. I think it's hilarious that you insinuated, oh, it's New Year's Eve, so of course I'm going to cook. I don't know if that's an of course statement, because I'm pretty sure we're ordering pizza.
I mean, hey, whatever gets it in your house is cool, but
whatever works. Okay, so my Black business is called Black and Green. And it's actually an all natural products site. They have body polishes, which are like scrubs. They have oils, they have loofahs, they have everything. Non-toxic is one of their main key points. They have menstrual care, they have bath and body care, home care, hair care, everything. And the prices are very reasonable. You can find them at their website, blackandgreen.com. And you can find them on Instagram. So if you're in the market for any new natural products, which Avis and I love to share, this is something I would definitely recommend that you try.
So with this will be posted the 1st of 2021, right? 2020 has been a trip, a journey for us all. And Jet and I were talking about it, and we kind of came up with the idea to have and post on our Instagram and Facebook page some very intentional questions to help couples kind of recap the year, process the year in a healthy way, and maybe get on the same page in a more effective way for 2021. He's right by the door.
I can tell.
He's in like a super clingy phase right now. So we wanted to share our responses. Jet, have you had the conversation with your husband yet? Like the
We have
recap?
not had the conversation. I think that'll be like part of our ring in the new year tonight. We're going to sit down and have the conversation.
Yeah, us too. We haven't had it either. I feel like though I should probably like text Philip the questions just so he can have some time to process them before we have the conversation. But
they just alike, so I think I might do the same.
Right, just prepare. But anyway, so we just wanted to kind of share a few of our responses to those questions with you all, and hopefully it will trigger you to go on our website. You can sign up for our newsletter and we will send them to you as well in that way. But even if the new year has started, you can still recap 2020, set intentions for 2021 with your spouse in a healthy way. So the question is, how do you feel you supported your husband in 2020?
How do I feel I supported my husband in 2020? I think that, well, for most of 2020, I was still at home. So I think I did my best to support him with the house being his work environment. So giving him that space that he needed, because of course, for me, I can see it as, oh, he's at home, so more playtime, yay! But in actuality, he was at home more, so he needed a appropriate workspace. And so I think I supported him through 2020 by giving him that, trying to fix his lunch when I could, just trying to be as much as a helpmeet in the home as possible while he was still working his regular 9 to 5 hours, day in and day out.
I think for me, I think I did do those things too. Um, but I feel like this has been one of the more peaceful years between Philip and I, as far as like arguments go and like fussing and fighting and bickering at each other, like that kind of thing. I think it was unintentional, but I wanted our home to be more peaceful because the world seemed like it was in more chaos than it typically is. And so um, I think I was able to maybe like check my response to being annoyed and that kind of stuff. I think I was able to check that a little bit more to make our home environment more peaceful. Like Philip, I think this year too, was the most stressed out about work than he's ever been. He works in like administrative healthcare, so he's like supporting healthcare workers administratively. And so I think him seeing kind of firsthand what was happening in that realm, like the stressors when it comes to the healthcare system and what everybody was going through and are still going through, honestly, 2021 don't change that. But I think that was like it did something different for him in his work environment. I think it stressed him out a little bit more. And so I hope that I was able to provide for him a more peaceful home environment. So when I ask him, who knows what he gonna say, if he agrees or not. And I'm not gonna ask it in a leading way. I'm just gonna ask the question and let him answer. And if he don't say what I want him to say, that's okay. I think it's okay. But we'll see. So.
Yeah, we will see. I think it will be interesting for us to recap after we actually have this conversation on what our spouses say that we did to aid them.
Yeah. So another question is, how could you have better supported your spouse in 2020?
I definitely could have better supported him in the sense of I really had no excuse to not be there for him physically. But a sister can always find an excuse, okay? Always. So I could have done better in that aspect. I will admit that. I tried, but I can admit I did not try my hardest. So I definitely, and I've said before in previous episodes that I do have a goal in for me to get to the level of being there for my husband whenever he needs it. If he has the confidence to ask for it, I need to be able to just be like, yes. But it seems like something else comes out before I can get to the yes. So I could have done better at that, and I will continue to strive to do better at that. Most definitely.
I think mine is similar. I think I feel like I've mentioned this before, but this year in particular, I feel like I confused taking care of our home with taking care of Philip. And so I focused on like our home environment a lot, like making it peaceful, making it comfortable for him, like making sure he didn't have to worry about washing the dishes or cooking dinner, like that kind of stuff. And I probably could have did better about making sure Philip was satisfied physically with, this year. And he kind of mentioned that today a little bit, and I don't know
what did he say.
He had a conversation with some friends and some other male friends that were married, and just expressed that, like, as you move through life, you do better about taking care of your spouse from a male perspective, right? You do better about providing, you do better about taking care of and all the other kind of stuff. But it feels like the focus of the wife shifts from taking care of the husband to taking care of just life, and how they potentially feel like they are giving more of themselves to be like good providers and good husbands, but they're getting and receiving less back when it comes to what they personally need, right? Like, so the home is taken care of, the family is taken care of, but he is not taken care of. And so we were kind of just talking through it, and those conversations definitely have the potential to go left with us, like to turn into a thing when it don't have to be a thing, when it can just be a conversation. But we were able to get through the conversation today without it being a thing. And I was just expressing to him that it's not easy for us, like as women, right? Let me not even speak for women, for Avis. It's not easy for me to juggle the things of life and still leave room emotionally and mentally for like real intimacy and like passion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just very hard. It's hard for me to like compartmentalize, to break those things out and still be available in that way for him. And I think he thinks that his equation to get to like a healthy sex life is my equation, and it's not. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, we just speak different languages as women and men.
Absolutely. I think that was one thing that we discussed in pre-marriage counseling, is the fact that men are able to easily compartmentalize life. You have work. Once you leave work, that door is shut and you get to go home. And you have your wife, you have your kid if you have one, and then, oh, the kid is asleep, you're able to close that door and then boom, open up the door to your wife. But as women, we have work, husband, kid, everything all in one giant bubble. And it's not so easy to just say that, oh, okay, well, I've left work so I can stop thinking about it. That's not as easy for us. And I think men don't understand that. That being said, I absolutely do not think that is an excuse. We have to learn how to be able to compartmentalize and turn our brains off in certain ways, so that we can be open and available to our husbands intimately, and not allowing things that have stressed us throughout the day to take us out of that mood, or to keep us from getting into that mood with our husbands. And I do totally believe that sentiment that was shared is accurate. That yes, that I think is a goal of any good man, is to become a better provider and to keep leveling up in that aspect as life continues to go on. And not to say that it's not there for women, it just looks different. And unfortunately, I can see the tendency for the husband to be put by the wayside more and more as life goes on, especially as you start to have children. But it should not be that way. It shouldn't. Your husband and your relationship should come first, because one day those kids are going to grow up and leave you, and you're going to hopefully still be with your husband. And you don't want to get to that point of y'all no longer know each other, because for 21 years y'all focus solely just on this child, or y'all focus solely just on your work life, and forgot about how to take care and love and have intimacy between the two of you.
I agree with that, but I don't think that is real life. It's not real life. Like, of course.
Can't it be though? But can't it be? Can't we make our life to be whatever we want it to be? Who says it's not real life?
I don't
Society, the past?
reality. It's not, it's, there are, not to say that you cannot have like a cycle of coming back to making your marriage, to making your husband your priority. It should be cyclical. But I think with that, you have to know that sometimes it's not going to be. Sometimes it's not, you're not going to be the focus. Your marriage is not going to be the focus. It's going to be attaining whatever goals that you have together. If y'all say, okay, we want to buy our first house, or we want to buy another house, you may have to pick up some overtime. You may have to grind out, especially in our 20s and in our 30s, and sacrifice some extra time to connect as a couple and stuff like that, to get the goals, to attain the goals that we want to attain. Sometimes you are going to have to pour more into your child than you do into your marriage. And I think that's where that's so frustrating to me, that like people don't acknowledge that. Like that is not, it's not bad that it's a cycle. That nobody in your life can be number one 100% of the time. Things ebb and flow, and you have to allow for that and not be so critical of that cycle in your marriage. If I am not my husband's focus right now, it may, I don't think it's wrong to have an emotional reaction to it. I don't think it's wrong to address it, to talk about it, but I can't say I have to be your focus 100% of the time, or we don't have a healthy marriage, or we don't have the connection that we used to have. You have to allow for cycles, and don't forget about each other. Do your best to make time where you can. But if we need to focus on our son, we need to focus on him. If you need to focus on work, I'm going to give you the room to do that, to handle the business that's outside of our, and like us two together, that's going to support us two staying together. I can't say, make me your focus, but still go out every day and earn for our family and put us in a position where we can retire before we are retirement age and stuff like that. That's not how we're not robots. That's what I'm saying.
I do agree with you, and I totally hear what you're saying. But the only part I disagree with is the idea that, for me, in my life, if there's anything that I truly want and desire, I can go after it, right? But does that mean that there is absolutely, or I'm not even going to say absolutely, that there is not enough time to focus or give attention to anything else? I feel like, let's use the career path, for example, that I want my husband to be working to the point where, yes, we can retire before we turn retirement age and what have you. Life allows for that to happen, but it's still not, if you're thinking of in the career paths that our husbands are in at this current moment, they're not in a career path that allows for things to happen at levels surpassing the time that they spend at work. When they're at work, they have that time to work on and focus getting us to whatever point that we need to be for our goals. Absolutely. But my thing is, there's 365 days in a year. There's 24 hours in a day. Nobody is working 24 hours a day. Not in a career-driven field of a 9-to-5 type of work environment. So yes, there might be times where you work overtime and you do those type of things, but still that overtime is not 24 hours in a day. And I'm not even saying that it has to be an everyday thing. If our goal is to have a date night every Tuesday, there should be nothing in this world that stops you from doing that. That's within your control. If you know that that's what we have, for you to make the decision to say, this, instead of doing this, I'm going to do this because that's the goal that I have carved out for that. If it's within your control, that's what I'm saying. So if there's something that you can control to say, this is where my focus lies, I believe that you can do that and still meet the same exact goals that you have set for you and your family. And it's not even to say that you're a robot.
I don't agree. I see what you're saying, but it's not that black and white. I feel like that's what I keep saying in all these episodes. It's not that black and white. If you are working 8 hours a day, and you grinding out. When Philip was working from home, I thought like, okay, he gonna be kicking it on a couch. Like, we gonna be able to talk. Like, I thought that was the environment. That was not the environment. Philip went into the office. He stayed in there. He came out to use the restroom. I brought him lunch. Like, he was working the full day. And I feel like I am a hard worker, but I'm going to search the internet a little bit. I'm going to get on my phone a little bit. He's not that person. If he's working, he is full on like concentrating. So that helped me understand and be more, work with him a little bit more and be open to the fact that when he comes home, he's tired. And it's not just physically tired. He's not physically tired, but he is emotionally tired. Like, he needs to just stop talking. He needs to not have a whole bunch of tasks to do. He needs to not have to talk to me throughout and recap my whole day and all that. He needs some time to come down. And so I think it's beautiful if you and Trey have the goal to have a date night every Tuesday night, and you do it. But Philip and I don't. It's not like that, and it doesn't have to be like that. I'm okay with it not being like that. If we have a date once a month, when we had our son, we probably went 4, 5, 6 months without having a date, and that was okay for me because I understood what phase in life we were in. I guess that's what I'm saying. It depends on what phase in life you're in. And that's not going to always be your focus. And I think if you have more understanding that is just how it goes sometimes, then I feel like flexibility. You just have to be flexible. We can't have a date night every Tuesday. We may not be able to have a date night this month, but we still good. We still solid. That does not speak to a lack of connection. That doesn't speak to a lack of growth. That doesn't speak to us not meaning to be together and we not making each other a priority. We are prioritizing the things that we need to prioritize, that we feel like are needing to be prioritized, and making sacrifices so we can be better at the next phase of life, or be in a better financial state in the next phase of life, or whatever. And so
I do agree with you. I do. I totally hear what you're saying. And I think people are able to build successful marriages and relationships with the dynamic that works best for them. And I feel like us sharing our idea of what it would look like for our family is beneficial, because I feel like some people may look at one couple or one relationship and feel like that's the goal, that's the way to get, and that's the only way to make a successful marriage. And so I do want that to be stated, is that neither one of us have to be the perfect route to 30 plus years of marriage, because I've heard many couples talk, and I've heard some who've been married for 30 plus years and mentioned they have a date night every week. I've had some who have never even mentioned setting aside date night time. So I mean, there's not one end all be all. I do feel like you do have to do what works best, and yes, in whatever situation you are in life. But I do feel like overall, I think that we're sharing that you still do have to find time for your spouse. No matter how you twist and turn it, no matter what your goals are in life, you as the husband and you as the wife have to make time for each other, because ultimately that's the person that you committed to for the rest of your life. And I think that I can speak for us both and say that we're in this for the rest of our lives. So however it may look in whatever given circumstance, I've got to figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we hope that you were able to get something from this. I think Jet and I, sometimes we agree, but sometimes we don't. And that's okay, because everybody got their own marriage. But so we'll go ahead and wrap up with how we won at adulting. You want to go?
Okay. So I won at adulting this week by helping my husband drive on our vacation. Y'all, listen. First and foremost, this girl right here is not down for the road trip. I'm not. But my husband is one of 6 children. So ask me if they flew anywhere. Not happening. So they drove everywhere they went for any vacation. So my husband is a road tripping extraordinaire. Yes, ma'am.
On top of that, I would just like to explain to the people, Jet don't drive. On top of the fact that Trey is a driver, Jet don't drive. In college, road trips, we going to somebody party, another campus, something like that. We know she not driving. One of us gonna have to drive. She will ask you when we were at home after we graduated, if we go on a brunch or something like that, she will ask you to come pick her up at her house and then go take her to wherever we going. She don't even want to drive to your house to go to wherever we going. So, okay, now proceed.
I despise driving, friends. I despise it. I really do. When I cannot wait for the moment that I make enough money to have a driver on standby, because I'm not driving nowhere. Do you hear me? Nowhere. And that is not an exaggeration. So yes, we left on, when was Christmas? Friday? Okay, so we left on Wednesday, or technically like really early Thursday morning. But Trey worked Wednesday. So he was only able to get in like 2 hours of sleep. And that's with me like doing everything. Like I literally, when we do go on vacation, my contribution is I pack everything for everybody, the dogs, him, whoever's going. I like loaded up the car. I got all of our snacks. I took the car to get an oil change. So I do contribute. My contribution is just not driving. So I had everything prepared. We were ready to go, but just when he got home, he still had to log on and do some more work and all that stuff. So he ended up only getting like 2 hours of sleep. I'm not trying to die. So, and I will give you this example of how much I don't drive. We were doing a road trip to, I don't know, somewhere many, many hours away. And he was getting sleepy. So I said, there's a Walmart up the street. So let's go pull in the parking lot to Walmart. You lay back, get some disease. I'll stay awake on guard just in case anybody try to try something fresh. And he got some sleep. And then we got back on the road. That's how much I do not drive. So I am telling you that I won at adulting this week because I helped my husband drive on our trip to Colorado. So I am very proud of myself. Fix your face and say, thank you, congratulations, you did a good job, you're proud of me, because I don't do that. And I did it just for my husband and our safety.
Good job, LS. That's ridiculous. Anyway, so I won at adulting. Okay, a couple episodes back I said that I needed to have a difficult conversation with somebody that was important in my life, and how that was hard. Like, I don't have a problem having difficult conversations with important people in my life, except for this particular person, because our relationship has been fragile in the past. And so having hard conversations can turn into a problem for real. And so I did it the same day that we recorded and I mentioned it. I had the conversation, and the outcome was good. It was good. Like, this person's response to what I was saying was, we probably don't need to talk about this, because anything that I'm going to have to say back is not going to be conducive to a healthy relationship between the two of us. And that in itself was so much growth on this person's part. And it helped me understand that, like, they are trying to, like, it's not just me trying to create a good relationship. They are trying to, and everything worked out perfectly fine. Everything worked out perfectly fine. So I appreciate the fact that I like pushed through and just did it and didn't like think about it for days and days and days and hype myself up and talk myself out of it or anything like that. So if you have a difficult conversation to have with somebody, pray about it and then just rip the Band-Aid off. Just do it.
Awesome. I'm very proud of you, sis. Very proud of you. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Black Millennial Wife.
Don't forget to like, share, and comment. We just wanted to wrap up by saying we are so appreciative of all the people that have taken the time out of their day to listen to me and Jet talk, followed us on Instagram, followed us on Facebook, signed up for our newsletter, all that kind of stuff. This was something that we started not too long ago. It's only been a few months, but we've gotten a lot of good feedback and a lot of good support in 2020. And so we just really appreciate that. We are really looking forward to doing some new and exciting things in 2021. So hang in there with us. Happy New Year to everybody. We love you all. We are praying for everybody. And just be on the lookout for our next episode on Fridays.
Yeah.
Bye.